beautiful angels. We are back with another episode. I am Bryn.
I am Miranda.
And welcome to the
Esty
Esty Besties. We have a really fun episode planned today. Today we have our first guest coming on, which we are so excited about. She will be here in just a minute, so we're just going to do a little intro before she gets here just to make things nice and easy. Miranda, do you want to tell us a little bit about what we're getting into today?
Yeah, today is the balance of being booked and busy. We are introducing a special guest, Kate Garman, and we're going to be talking about balancing career, personal life, and everything in between, which I know we can all relate to.
Yes, so let's get into the first guest episode.
So exciting!
Okay, guys, so we are here with Miss Kate Garman.
Yep.
We are so excited to have her today. We just gave our little intro of what the episode is going to be about, so I guess we'll get straight into letting Kate give you guys a little intro.
Hello. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm so excited. I'm like, first of all, so impressed by both of you. Like, one, this whole space, this whole business, like, props to you guys. Like,
oh, thank you.
We're impressed by you too.
Thanks.
Girl.
People don't know how hard this is. Like, how difficult it truly, truly is to like go all in and like believe in yourself and open up your own space and like take that risk. So I give you guys like a ton of props.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And
Thank you.
starting a
Right back at
podcast
you.
is terrifying. I've been wanting to start a podcast for years and I've never done it. So
This is your icebreaker.
this could be it. Who knows?
This is the intro.
You guys are giving me the confidence.
Garmin Group podcast.
Oh God. Oh God. I feel like I would need to edit it so much because people would say the craziest stuff. But
It's okay.
yeah, so Kate Garman. I just turned 30, so super excited about that. I thought I'd like cry on my 30th birthday, but I loved it. I feel like I'm entering like this whole new era. I think my best days are ahead of me, not behind me. So super excited about turning 30. I work in the real estate industry. My husband and I have a real estate sales team and investing team, and then I have my own property management company. So I jumped into this world like a year ago, rewind, back to like 2015 when I graduated college, got in real estate right out of college. Like I graduated on a Friday and I started on Monday.
Oh, wow.
I didn't take like a senior summer. I didn't go on like
just jumped in
vacation.
head first.
I literally started Monday. So, a little bit of a regret. I wish I like exhaled a little bit, celebrated graduating college, but like those student loan bills were coming.
Yep.
Like I was like not messing around. So, right out of college, I started working for my college landlord, who also happened to be one of my best friend's dads. So he kind of saw something in me. He was like, hey, you have a great personality. You're super friendly. I'm looking for somebody to kind of join my team and help with real estate. And I didn't know what he did. I didn't know anything about it. But I was like, whatever, I need a job. You're going to pay me. I'll jump into this. Like, if you think I'll be good at it, sure. So I initially started working in property management, managing his commercial properties. So like office buildings, retail buildings, stuff like that. Fell in love with real estate. It took me a little bit of time. Like for the first 6 months, I really like contemplated quitting every single day.
Oh.
Hated it.
Was this in Newark?
Yes, I was driving to Newark every day. My boyfriend lived in Delaware County at the time. Well, my husband now, but he lived like, 40 minutes from my job. So it was like driving 40 minutes to see him after work. And it was just a lot. And then I didn't like the dynamic at the office. I like didn't fit into like the vibe yet. Okay. I didn't like make friends right away. But once I hit that 6 month mark, I kind of understood the office dynamics. I like became friends with everyone. I started to click. So fast forward, I stayed there like 2.5 years. I fell in love with more the sales side of real estate. Property management was fun, but people call you and like yell at you all day long in property management. I got a little tired of that. So I kind of liked the sales side more. So I decided to get my real estate license. Went into more of like the brokerage side of things, did some office leasing, retail leasing, and then the pandemic hit. And in the pandemic, my husband and I purchased our first investment property. We had already purchased some investment properties with partners. This was the first one him and I bought together with no help, no, big daddy investor coming in and giving us all the money. This was all us,
All on your own.
our money. We weren't married yet, so it was a big commitment. But we went all in on it. We renovated the house. We rented it out. We did like that BRRRR strategy where you buy, rent, renovate. and then refinance. And it was awesome. Like we did amazing. Like it was super fun. We loved it.
And everything went smooth. Like, did
super
you have any
smooth.
crazy like renovation hiccups?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like 100. We went over budget.
You're like, that's inevitable.
Yeah, we went over budget, way over on time. But we learned a ton, and like we call that tuition. Like whenever we spend too much money on something, we over budget. We go over budget. We say like we're paying tuition, like we're learning.
Okay.
You pay $100,000 to go to college these days, but like God forbid you make $1,000 mistake one day. It's like it's tuition.
That's
you're
so
learning.
True. That's a
So-
good way to
That
think
is a
about
good
it.
way
Yeah,
to put it.
we call it tuition. So whenever anyone makes a mistake that has money tied to it, we just say you're paying tuition.
As long as you learn from
You're
it.
learning as long as you learn. As long as you learn. Yes, we
Yeah.
paid a lot of tuition on that project, but we still own it today. We have amazing tenants in there.
That's cool.
And then the pandemic kind of ended. It was time for me to go back to the office, back into like the office brokerage world, and we were still investing. We were still buying things. We were still like doing this like side hustle, I guess.
Yeah.
And I had to like kind of decide, like, am I going to go all in on this investing thing with him and property management on our personal investments? And then his real estate sales business was booming and taking off, or am I going to go back to this like brokerage corporate world?
Right.
So fast forward October of 2021, and I left my full-time job with benefits, 401k, health
comfort zone.
insurance,
Yeah.
like our safety net. I left that, and then I found out I was pregnant like 3 days later. Yeah, so scary timing. But I say all the time, like somebody was looking down on me, like somebody
Definitely.
gave me that boost to quit, that Friday, because otherwise I would have never done it.
Yeah,
I would have never done it.
Look at where you are now.
Yes,
you know
thank
what
God.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything is so
Yeah.
good now. It's almost like that's such a good testimony that I always try to tell people when they're going through
Yeah.
turmoil, like emotional turmoil. I'm like, something is going to come out of
Yes.
this. And it's so annoying to hear that in
It's
the
the
moment.
worst.
Everyone,
Yeah.
you're like, shut up.
I
Like,
know.
I know. But that's such a good testimony that like things just, you're like, you can
100%.
feel like it's the end of the world or like
Yeah.
things are just not working out, but it's always for a reason,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
with like a career. I think.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You have all these trials and tribulations.
Yeah, you have bills to pay, and it's like, holy moly, what did we just do?
Exactly.
What did we just do? So, but thank God I did. And yeah, it was meant to be. So I am like a year and a half in on going all in on the business with my husband. So he kind of focuses on the sales side, like the, typical buyer or seller in real estate, somebody that's like buying their first house, selling their house. We do a lot of like estates. Someone's passed away. We do a lot of their type of sales.
Okay.
We've actually done a couple divorces. So like all types of like normal people buying and selling real estate. I focus a little bit more on like our investments, and then I do all of our property management. So I'm back in the property management world, but it's a little different when it's for
Yeah.
your own stuff.
Definitely different.
So if like they're calling you and they're like, oh, my air conditioning broke, like it's my air conditioning because like I own the house.
Right.
So
Right.
like it's not like, oh, the air conditioning broke.
You
like
have more urgency.
oh my gosh. I'm like, but I got to get over there. I got to fix
Right.
it. Like and it's your tenant. They know you. They're calling you personally. So
Right.
so I don't mind it as much now that it's my own investments.
Yeah, that's
So, yeah.
true. The
More
dynamic,
value in it.
The dynamic shift
Yeah.
definitely plays into that
Yeah,
for sure.
and it's my money now. So
Exactly.
if
So you're
like,
like, I'm not playing with that.
Right. Before I was like, oh, just send the guy over and fix it, and now I'm like, well, I'm gonna go over and check it out and see if I can fix it.
Yes.
And a lot of the times, like, you actually can. Like, you just YouTube it and you'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Self-sufficient.
No,
Yeah.
100%. You
Exactly.
can do anything.
Oh, I do all of our filter changes. All of our properties are within walking distance to each other. So
okay.
every like 3 to 4 months, I like walk around with a stack full of filters and go and change all the filters on all the properties. It's like
I love it.
it's like
I love
therapeutic.
it.
It's
I love
gross.
it.
They're all in basements and they're all disgusting, but
They come
it's-
out like black. You're
Yes,
like,
but
"Oh."
I'm like,
But
I'm
it's satisfying because then you're like, it's
so
clean.
satis-
Now
yes,
it's clean.
I'm so proud, and like I look at my husband, I'm like, you don't even know where the filters are. Like, like I got this.
It is
so
something.
it's so fun.
It is something really satisfying about doing something that is a traditional
Yes.
male.
Oh my God,
like
yeah.
thing to do in our society. It's something so satisfying about like walking in, doing it, and being like,
Yeah.
I didn't need anybody for
Nope,
that.
didn't even. No, it's the best.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's the best. So yeah, that's kind of me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm learning so much about you. I
Good.
I thought I knew it
Yeah,
all,
this is
but
so
I didn't.
interesting.
Good. I love that.
So what would you say is like your overall driving force to enter the industry? I know at first you were like, it
Yeah.
kind of just fell into place, but if you had like, whether it was an intuitive
Yeah.
feeling or voice telling you to do it, like what was kind of that where
Yeah.
you're like, I'm going to do this. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
I would say I just never wanted someone else to be in charge of my income. Like I just never wanted, and my first job in real estate was that I had a base salary of like 35 grand. And then the next year was 36 grand. And then the next year was 37. And I just, as much as I knew I loved real estate, I knew that there was just like another world out there of like not being capped and not like living for that paycheck. I like could never imagine going back to that world now. I just feel like I want to work as hard as I want to work and my income reflect that. And I don't want any type of ceiling on, well, this is what someone your age makes, or this is what someone in your position makes. And it is what it is, take it or leave it.
Totally.
So I wanted to be in the driver's seat and know that if I were to work harder or do better, that my income would reflect that.
Totally.
So that kind of is what pushed me into the sales world.
Okay. And that's really huge. I think it's a personality type difference. It's like,
some people think I'm crazy.
Yeah. Do you want to be in the driver's seat or do you want to be a little passenger princess? Yeah. Both are amazing.
Both
lives. Are beautiful lives. Which do you want?
Yeah.
Like what is your, and you can be both. You can be the driver and the passenger.
And you can go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, but just trying to figure that out. I think it's really a self thing. That's what we keep coming back to is with a theme in these episodes is like, know yourself. That's just like the overlying
100%.
theme. Know what you want. And you don't know what you want until you try it. So you jumping into that and trying that, you knew you were in the right overall realm, but you weren't in the pinpointed part of that realm. So being able to figure that out, and you clearly know yourself if you knew what you wanted. So.
And I also wanted to be able to make like my own schedule. You guys get this?
Yeah.
I just like the 9 to 5 clock in, clock out, like, oh my gosh. Like, I just feel like I would pound my head against the wall now. Yeah. And it has its downsides, right? Like we're running around on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. or like a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And like, it's just a trade-off. Like,
it is a trade-off.
It's 100% trade-off. But like, we can take, like, I have an 8-month-old Murphy, and like, we can take a Thursday afternoon off and like go to the aquarium, or like take her. She was like sick the other day. I took her to the doctor's office. I didn't have to take off work and ask my boss, and I just went. Like, I just went, and I have an amazing team that I work with that picked up the pieces of whatever appointments I had that day, and I could just go.
It's amazing to have that flexibility.
I could never imagine.
It's a blessing.
Honestly.
I know.
Yes. I would be so miserable.
Can you imagine? Yeah. I just can't. I can't imagine.
It's not in our personalities. Like,
especially with a child.
Yes.
Especially with
oh my gosh, as a mom, oh my gosh. It's like, I don't want to miss
a
second of her life.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you want to go into the next one?
Yeah. So I know you were telling us a little bit about your first investment.
Yeah, leave them right there. Yeah.
Love the city. Our office is the same.
Yeah. Love it. Always love the strangers around here. Okay, so I know that you were kind of talking about your first investment. But what about your first official sale in the real estate game? Tell us about it.
So it was actually a lease. I did my first lease when I first got into like the brokerage sales world. My first lease on my own, like the commission was coming to my name. It was mine. It was an 800 square foot lease, and it was she did like Botox. Okay. So I guess like you guys would know better than me. Yeah. But she was small. It was just her.
Okay.
So she had her own little. She was looking for her own little space. So her space was 800 square feet. So what is this? Like 14, 15?
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
I think you might be a 2.
I think it's like 12, 13.
Her space was like literally a room. Like it was a room and a waiting room. She signed like a 2-year lease, and the commission was like maybe $1,000, like maybe. So,
but for your first sale,
you're my gosh, I still have the selfie. Like I was the day she signed the lease and the landlord signed the lease. I like cried. I got in my car and cried. Like
it's a proud day.
Oh my gosh. Like it was just like I had sourced the tenant, or I'd found her. It wasn't like my boss had given me a, easy lead and just like teed it up for me. I 100% sourced her by myself. I did everything start to finish by myself. She's amazing. And she's still in the space today.
Wow. Amazing.
And it was just like the best feeling. And I took a selfie and sent it out to, I think, everyone I knew. And
Keep
it was
it
so fun. Yeah.
Seriously. That's such a monumental.
It's a milestone.
That's
like the beginning of
Someone
your
trusted
career.
me. I was like 24, 25. And somebody trusted me with their business's decision. Like that's a big decision. I think her rent was like $1,500 a month or something. I don't remember. But like she trusted me to sign this legal document, and I was terrified, but I was super proud of it.
I think that's amazing. And I think people trusting you, it's like, once you get into the flow of it, you're used to it. Cause like now, like, okay, our clients trust us, your clients trust you. Yeah. But in the beginning, it's like really such a big deal to get
It's
someone
so-
to put their faith in you
Yes,
blindly.
yes.
Like you had no repertoire before that. You had no like nothing to base it off of.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel with clients. It's like there were clients that came to us before we ever had pictures of our work, and that is just so
It's
like I just
terrifying.
have so much
Yeah.
love for them
Yes.
though, because I'm like,
Oh, you have a
like,
special place in your heart for
yes,
them.
Yes,
Yeah.
always,
Yeah.
always. That's
The fact that they
best.
put their trust in you.
Trust
It means
is-
a lot.
It really is. It really is.
And I was actually my husband's first sale. So like that, our first house, it was my house. I bought it. He represented me and I was technically his first client. So like
That's hilarious.
I signed his
Meant to
first
be.
ever offer. And like, we had no idea what that offer said. Like he didn't know what any of that said. We just signed it and
Just go with
crossed
it.
our fingers. So yeah, so I was his first sale. I'm always super proud of that.
So speaking of, you have been growing your team.
Yes.
So tell us about your team, and then tell us like about the business dynamic. Like, what does it look like when you guys go into work together? What's
Yeah.
a day in the office kind of like for you guys?
Yeah.
And how did you find them?
Yeah. So, like I said, I just joined the team in October of last year. So I'm only like a year and a half in. My husband, he went straight to, so we got our real estate licenses at the same time. He went straight to residential. Like he knew he'd be good at it. He tells a really like awesome story about when he was younger, his parents foreclosed on their house when he was in high school. And like, he just went through that and like, nobody like reached out and helped them. So
Okay,
that's
yeah.
the kind of his why. And I don't want to tell his story, but that's why he knew like, I want to get into this residential world. I want to help people like my parents, the normal, you know, blue collar, normal worker, like
Right.
help them like get out of their awful situations or whatever they may be in. So he went straight into that world. So he is like 5 years ahead of me when it comes to like the residential world. He was jumping around teams, brokerages, kind of found his home with Compass, where we are now. Right around that time, he brought on our first teammate, which is Cole Cyber. He is like our, I want to say jack of all trades. You guys talked about that in your last episode. He's kind of like our jack of all trades. He did everything. Like real estate's a lot of running around. Like there's no, you guys even said like, no 2 days are the same. It's a lot of lock boxes, signs, call this person, drop this check off, running
A lot
around.
of moving parts.
Yes. And when you're growing a team, you physically can't do all those things. So Cole initially came on to just help Vincent with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
We paid him hourly. And then we got to a point where we were like, all right, Cole, you're either going to go into this admin world and we're going to keep paying you, you know, a salary, or you need to get licensed. Like if you think that you could do this, go get your license. So Cole took a huge leap of faith, got his license. You know, he was young. He could have done anything. He was just finishing college. Like he could have done anything. He could have gone and worked at a bank. He could have gone and, you know, insert here, but he took a huge leap of faith, went and got his license, and he was like the official first team member of the Garmin Group.
Yes. And he
So-
fits in
Shout out to
so
Cole.
well.
Yes. And
Yeah, we
I
love
always
Cole.
say, like, you took a risk on us. Like, I wasn't part of the team officially yet, but I was in it. Like, I was very much in it. So we always say, like, you were the first risk. Like, you took the first step. And we always say, like, sometimes the first follower is actually the leader. Like, that first person to take that chance is actually, like, kind of paving the way. So we owe a lot to him. Fast forward, I joined the team, and again, I just found out I was pregnant. So really scary time. So it was just the three of us for a little while. We've always kind of had like an admin or somebody that helps us. So that role's kind of changed different person to person over the years. So we've always kind of had an admin as well that's like behind the scenes doing all the computer work.
All the busy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had kind of been going after this guy, Connor. We're all kind of lost souls. Like we're all kind of like have jumped around place to place. Connor was jumping around place to place, couldn't really find his spot in the world. Vincent especially saw something in him. It's like a very special personality in real estate sales of just like juggling future business, current business, past business. Like it's a lot of juggling. And you always have to be top of mind in real estate. So Vincent saw something in Connor, kind of started recruiting him right around the time Connor said, I'm going to join, decided to go get his license. So he was in the process of getting his license. And then by some grace of God, Jade knocked on our door like 2 weeks before I was giving birth. Yeah. So she came to us and was like, I want to join your team. Like I want to join tomorrow. And we were like, whoa, like we're not looking for anyone right now. We're not really sure. Fast forward like 3 days later, she was on the team.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, her first
meant to
day,
be.
I would think her first day was like the day I went into labor with Murphy. Like really crazy, really
so
crazy
crazy.
timing. Yeah,
But
but
that was,
she
like,
was
perfect.
a godsend. And
Yeah.
like to this day, she is a godsend. Connor's a godsend. Like every person on our team has been placed at like very specific timing. Like I really believe in all of that.
And for purposes.
Oh my gosh. And now like they are my daughter's aunts and uncles. Like they see those three people they see us the most and then they see them. Like Vincent and I had an appointment the other day. We left the baby in the office with them. Like they are hers.
Yeah.
She climbs in their arms just as much as she climbs in ours. So they're all godsends. Like we could not do it without them.
You didn't just build a team, you built a
Family.
Yeah.
For
Oh my
sure.
gosh.
Which is
Such a family. Like they were at her baptism. Like they are like, they're everything to us. So.
I love that. I think that's definitely, I know this has always been around in business, but I think it's definitely more of an our generation thing to build that family dynamic in the business. I think in like some of the older school businesses, mom and pops like definitely had that element that like the small restaurants, whatever, they have that family dynamic. But I think we really, really have realize the importance of having your team be people that you really truly love and people that you really truly want to be around and people that have the same alignment as you. They have the same goals as you and morals too, like all that stuff. Like all that stuff plays into it. But I think that's why I love our business dynamic as in this
so many
generation.
similarities.
So many similarities and yeah, it's just really, it makes your day so much better to go into a workplace and not hate your workplace.
Yes.
Like,
Come on. We've turned people down, people that have wanted to join the team, and we've turned them down because we're like, you don't fit.
It doesn't
like
work,
you're not the
right.
next puzzle piece. You don't fit.
true.
And like you guys, I literally was just listening to this yesterday. You guys talked about this. Like the energies have to match up. Like you have to be on the same page as us. You have to be like a young and hungry person.
Yes,
we
very
Vincent and I
much.
talk all the time. Like we don't think we'll ever hire someone older than us. Like we have this like young team chip on our shoulder. And so like that's our vibe. That's what we're grinding and chasing after every day. So if someone older, more established, has been in the business 20 years, joins the team, it's like, who are you? Like this is not it.
And they might be widely successful, but
yes.
it's just not the same. Like
it's not
vibe.
a fitting puzzle
It's not
piece.
gonna work.
So crucial. It's so you want to walk in and feel that energy every day.
That's so true. And
so
you
we're
can
very
feel
selective.
that young hunger,
Yes.
like that
Yes.
business drive. Like you
Yes.
can just tell when someone has it. You can look at them, talk to them, and be like, "You
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
You either got it or you don't."
And it's so obvious. It's
It
so
is.
obvious.
It really is.
Speaking of family,
Yes.
what is it like
I know.
working
Yes.
with your husband as a business partner? Let's get
Oh my
into
gosh.
it.
That's you guys said like let's
It's a
spill the
loaded
tea.
question.
It is.
Yes. it's like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very hard. And we still struggle with it. I would say a year and a half in, we struggle with it all the time. And so we're still learning.
Yeah.
I would say it's worth every struggle because I
Yeah.
can't imagine any other way.
You grow from it.
100%. We struggle though. Like we had a babysitter the other night, went out to dinner, and he spent the whole time talking about work. And I'm like, okay, we do this all day. By the end, I'm just like, I'm over this. I can't do this anymore. It's all the time. It's constant. So like it's our whole life. We're all in on it, but sometimes it gets a little exhausting talking about work all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So we struggle to find the balance. It's also weird. Like sometimes we'll disagree on things and you may have like a level of respect with, a boss or an employee, but like him and I are equals when it comes to the business. We're equals. So
You don't hold back.
No. So sometimes like there was one time early on, it was just me, Vince, and Cole, and him and I got into it. Like we were bickering and it was all business related. It's nothing like outside of the office, but we were bickering and Cole was just like,
Shook.
what do I do? Like mom and dad are fighting.
Mom and dad are fighting.
Yes, and I've done a better job recently of like biting my tongue, and like I'll talk to him about this later. Like we're not going to fight in front of the team.
Yeah.
So I've definitely tried to do better of that. Even though it kills me because sometimes I want to just rip his face off. But yeah, it's very hard. It's
I
very
bet.
hard. We have disagreements. I am more the conservative one. I like pinch the pennies, make sure, we can afford everything that we're doing. And he's the dreamer. He's like, let's go buy more swag. Let's go buy this. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. And I'm like, who's paying for all of this? So like sometimes we butt heads.
Sort of the yin and yang element
Yes.
to it where you guys you obviously can work together because you are
Yeah,
in
we
a
balance each other out.
partnership for life.
Yeah.
But you have these different qualities that can balance each other out. So
Right.
like where he lacks, you may pick up on vice
Exactly.
versa, and that's what makes it work.
Yeah.
And then maybe on areas where, you know, you guys may be having issues, maybe that's where the team can come in and be like,
Yes.
oh, maybe let's
Yes.
find a middle ground or
Yes.
whatever the case may be. But
Right.
I think the major benefit though of working with your partner is that trust aspect. Like
Yeah.
you will never have to worry about him stealing
No.
from you, taking
No.
any ideas, like
No.
nothing. Like that's
No.
what's cool about it.
Yes.
You do have that like
Yes.
ultimate trust with them.
Yes.
But I think anyone that's in a relationship with someone that they work with, whether it's just like co-employees or literally business partners,
Yeah.
they all have these issues. And it's
100%.
very much normal. It's about like how to maneuver through them and
Yeah.
how to get. But the fact that you're saying like, oh, I pick up on these things, we're both aware of it, we know about it.
Yeah,
and
we
we're
get
just
better every
figuring it
time.
out. Exactly, it's all learning.
Yeah.
It's all building blocks to the puzzle.
And I will say, like, we are very blessed. This is going to sound super corny. We are very blessed. Like, we were friends pretty much first. So we do
Yeah.
have like this overarching friendship that like, I'm never going to say something that like cuts to the core. Like we
Yeah.
never like cross that line. Because at the end of the day, even when we're fighting or like we're mad at each other for insert here, we're best friends at the base, like at the absolute base. So like we have that foundation that like we're never going to take it too far.
There's always respect.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So, I think we can do a better job of like, hey, let's table this. Like, hey, let's like take a beat. That's
Separate
definitely
business
yes.
and personal.
We're awful
That
at
must
it.
be it's
It's bad.
balancing
It's
act
bad.
I could imagine.
It's basically business or Murph. Like those are the only things we talk
Business or
about
Murph.
sometimes. And I'm like, do we even like,
we
where's the
married?
marriage? Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's a real feeling. Like
Yes.
that happens to a lot of people, and I feel like you just being transparent about that
Yeah.
can make a world of a difference.
Yeah.
Being aware of it
Give
and
yourself
being
grace.
transparent about it. Yes,
Yeah.
give yourself grace.
We're at the end of the day, like we are in the infancy stages of this. Like we want to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
So like we always say, like we're in our like Facebook like basement office phase. You know what I mean? Like
I
we're
love
still
that,
kind of
though.
in that like startup hustle phase, and like this is the time we need to make these mistakes. This is the time we need to get in these fights and like hash it out.
So true.
And
Not
like
over $1 million deals. Like,
Exactly.
We need to do it now.
now, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah. And we did that first project together like during COVID. So like we also have that foundation of like going through that project together prior to being married, prior to having a business. So I knew it was going to work. I knew we'd figure it out.
Right.
So again, like having that foundation's been huge.
Amazing. And even I think of even like when you build like an IKEA shelf together,
Yeah.
I feel like that can be like a make or break of a relationship.
Such a good example. Oh my gosh.
No, but literally like that can you either fight and it's a whole brawl.
Yeah.
Or you guys work with each other,
Yep, and figure
you
it
make
out.
it work, whatever. It's like
Such a good
very
example.
similar. Very
Yes.
similar.
You should do that as like
That's
a
a good
team building.
analogy.
When
Yeah.
you bring a new employee
Team
on,
building.
we're going to build a
We're
shelf.
gonna build a shelf together.
Yes. It's a good icebreaker.
Yeah, good bonding
That's so funny.
experience.
I love that. Me and Miranda have done it one too many times to count.
I can just look around and imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah. So, okay, we have touched on family
Yes.
and business.
Yes.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit of what a day in your life looks like? I know that it could be different every single day,
100%,
but
right.
just the average with
Yeah.
Murph, with
Yeah.
your family, with what events.
We're
Oh my
overall in like a
gosh.
general groove right now, which is good.
Yeah.
While every day is different, it also is like somewhat kind of fallen into this like
We
rhythm.
have like a structure.
Yes, which it took some time to get to. So we have Murphy, she's 8 months old. And the routine we're kind of in right now. What'd you say?
I said, wow.
I know,
8
time
months.
flies.
That's
It's
crazy.
wild.
That is crazy.
It is
I feel like
crazy.
you just popped her out.
I know, I do too. So kind of like in real estate, a lot of our life is nights, right? Like a lot of times people get off work at 5. That's when they're hitting us up. That's when they want to look at houses, or, you know, we do a lot of networking, a lot of connecting with people. Not as much me right now. I'm kind of basically, we say we have 2 babies, the business baby, and then we have Murphy's the baby. So we kind of just like sat down and we're like, we have to divide and conquer. So at the end of the day, the business is Vincent's baby. Like if that baby's on fire, he's got that one.
Got it.
And then Murphy's mine. So if there's something big with Murph, like pretty much I'm going to take the lead. I'm going to drop everything and take her to the doctor.
Okay,
right.
okay.
But at the end of the day, they're both our babies. Like we're both all in on both.
Yeah.
So normal life right now, we're getting ready to announce this. So like you guys will hear it here, but I'm also pregnant. So crazy. They're going to be
Number 2.
Yeah, so they're going to be super close in age. They're going to be 13 months. So
Wow.
being pregnant again, like you need to sleep. Like you guys will learn this. Like you have to sleep. You have to sleep. So right now the routine is Vincent's up with the baby. So if she's up in the middle of the night, he 100% handles it. I have to sleep. Like I just have to sleep, or I cannot be a mom, work, be pregnant. I can't do all three.
Functioning's off the
I can't
table.
do all three if I don't sleep. I can dabble in all three if I sleep. But without sleeping, I can only do two things is what I've kind of been saying. I can be pregnant, I can work and be a mom. I can only do two at a time if I don't sleep. I can do all three if I do. So we've kind of figured out he's up with the baby. So
that's good.
She wakes up around 6 a.m. He takes her. He wakes up with her. That's when I kind of get like my good REM. I kind of like spread out. She's occupied. I know she's safe. So I kind of sleep for like a nice like 1 to 2 hours.
Okay.
So mornings are like family time for us. So we don't take appointments before 10 typically. We are home. That's like our family time. So again, like the normal 9 to 5, that would never happen. Like no way. So
Absolutely not.
So like that 7 o'clock hour to that like 9 o'clock hour is really our sweet spot. That's when we're playing with the baby. We're giving her breakfast. We're like off our phones. We're a family.
Okay.
And then once it hits like 9:30, he's in the shower. I'm getting the baby dressed. We're like, it's like game time. Like we are 100 miles an hour. So sometimes she'll take a nap and I'll chill with her at home. He'll go to the office. And that's when like our day really starts, like 10. Fast forward, I'm in the office, he's in the office, the baby's in the office, the full team's in the office, right around like 10:30. Like we are humming and grooving and we are after it. Like right around 10:30, Murph and I stay in the office. That's when I get the bulk of like my office work done. So like paying bills, opening mail, like all that kind of stuff. She's running around her walker. We just got her playpen. She's like kind of an office like mascot. I don't know what to call her.
I was going to say, the fact that you can have Murphy at work with you.
It's the best.
Imagine.
Kind of. Our next door neighbor is like a professional baby holder. He's he's retired, so he holds babies at like Nemours. Like this is his job now.
God,
So,
I need that job.
Yes, he's the bomb. So he'll come over and play
I
with
need to
her.
know the qualifications.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty detailed. Yeah, because like they don't want just like a pedophile coming in and holding a baby.
Right.
So he'll come over and play with the baby for 20, 30 minutes. Basically everybody in the office kind of takes their turn with her. I mean, we're so blessed. Like we're so blessed. I come in, Jade's typically the first person to pick her up, like instantly get her out of her car seat, play with her. Then she makes her way to Cole and plays with Cole. Cole now has a dog in the office, so she plays with Cole and the dog. She like very much has a little crush on Connor, so she like flirts with him across the room and like gives him the eyes. I'm always like, Murphy, stop looking at Connor like that. Like, stop it. Yes, like stop it. Like she looks at him different. Yeah. So then she'll make her way to Connor.
So funny.
Yes. It's so obvious. It drives me nuts. So she'll make her way to Connor. And all the while, like I am 1,000 miles an hour. I'm trying to crunch in as much office work as I can in a short amount of time. So that usually takes like, 2 to 3 hours. And then I take her home for her afternoon nap. We get lunch, we have our afternoon nap. And that's when I do my computer work. So she likes to nap next to me. I just put her next to me and like,
you'll go home for this?
I will go home
Okay.
and that's when I do like my email, like social media, the stuff. And I basically like shut out the world. I take no calls during that time. She's asleep next to me. I can't. And so that's when I get like 2 to 3 hours of like busy work done, which is awesome. Gotcha. She's up around like 4:30. Sometimes we'll stay home and I'll keep working, or I would say 90% of the time we're going back to the office.
Okay. You can walk, right?
Yeah, we walk back it's 3 blocks. I just push her in her stroller. So
that's amazing.
She's
cool.
up and down the block like 3 to 4 times a day.
That is amazing.
And so I've kind of taken a backseat to a lot of our in-person appointments because I'm with her. So Vincent's kind of taken over like the face of the business, being out and about. So right around that like 4 to like 7 time frame, I'm either helping him with something or he's going to a final walkthrough or a showing. A lot of his job is being out and being social. So a lot of times it's like, hey, so-and-so just hit me up and wants to get a drink. Like, so a lot of that nighttime is hustle and bustle, moving around. He's going to get a drink with an old client that we have to connect
Constantly
with.
networking.
Constant.
Is so much social.
So much. Yes. And we love it.
Yeah.
Like that's our favorite
You guys
part.
are good for it.
We love it. And I like miss it sometimes.
Right.
So like this is definitely a phase of my life where I'm kind of out of that world. But again, this is his role in our life right now. So he goes out and does the happy hours and meets the clients and does the tours and does the showings. And sometimes it's just late night grinds at the office with the team. And we typically hang out in the office till like 6:37, like late.
Okay.
So if you're ever driving by in trolley, like the lights are typically on. We always have people like, when do you guys go home? And the baby's still running around in her walker. So like we'll be there till 6:37, and then I'll take the baby home, do nighttime routine. Vincent usually comes in, halfway through, and we put the baby down together. And then typically one or both of us is plugging back in for a couple hours just to like pick up the pieces of whatever, we dropped from the day. He usually stays up to like midnight on his phone, checking emails, like just getting caught up. I'm usually up to like 9 or 10 doing the same. And then the day, then it restarts.
And then it repeats.
Then it repeats.
How do you guys stay organized as far as like knowing about the emails, the mail, all that stuff? Do you use a planner? Do you use calendar app? Like
calendar.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have we literally just implemented a Garmin group calendar, so we all know where each other is. Real estate, like a lot of times we're meeting strangers, people we don't know, or someone we kind of know, or we were referred to. So we all try to know where everyone is all the time.
That safety aspect.
Yes. And we're also very big on the buddy system. Unless you absolutely have no one to come with you, you should be going to appointments with someone. There's no reason to ever travel alone in this business.
That is smart.
That's something I didn't
even
think
if you
about
know them,
as a realtor.
but think about it. You're walking into an empty house.
Yeah.
You don't know if someone's there squatting or
that's true.
Crazy, grandma's taking claim to the house or whatever. You just have no idea. And then the client, like if you know them or not, who knows? So like there's just no reason to go to appointments alone.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah.
That's important.
It can be scary. Yeah.
And it's nice to go with the buddy.
Yes.
Too.
Oh
You
my
have
gosh.
someone
And we
to talk
also,
about it with
and like you guys are the same as us. Like you guys talked in the last episode about content. Like we're always constantly trying to get content too. So if you're going to a showing with your client, like bring someone with you so they can do the content while you're working, right?
Yeah,
so one person's doing content, one person's doing the actual showing. So it's just more opportunities to make content too.
Yeah, and I have to say, your guys' content has been really stepping up.
Yeah.
Like you're really killing
trying.
it.
We're trying.
You're doing like the drones going through the house, the whole nine.
We started
I'm gonna check that
outsourcing.
out.
We started outsourcing. So we're in the process of hiring someone to do social media. They're going to be like our social media person. They're going to work like, 5-6 hours a week, whatever.
That's exciting.
And cause like you guys know, like that is a full-time job.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even mind filming the content. It's the editing.
Yes. Like the editing, getting your captions.
Oh my gosh.
Understanding hashtags, how the algorithm works on social media. Like
that's a whole job.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of outsourcing that and bringing on a new teammate.
That will help.
Huge. And then we have amazing photographers we work with for like listing perspectives, and they do all of our reels and video and all that stuff.
Oh, nice.
But again,
That's
like
nice.
outsource. We're trying to just outsource that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we definitely are too, but it can be a struggle sometimes to transition to that, especially when you are someone as particular about your business as we all are.
Oh, it's so hard.
Really
I struggle
to find someone and like loosen the reins and be like, okay, I trust you to film my vision. It's really hard.
It's
but
so
once
hard.
you find those people, you're like, oh,
you're locked.
Now we're good. Now we're good.
That's your team.
Yeah. Building a team is the hard part, but it's also the fun part.
Yeah.
And it's also like, I don't know, it's something really fun about like the hustle phase for me.
Yes.
Like it's something really like I'm loving it.
Sweet.
I love like the beginning phases.
Yeah.
I like don't really want to leave. I still kind of miss sometimes like my old apartment. I'm like, oh, like miss her.
Yes.
You know?
How could you not?
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. It's something
Nostalgic.
really special about the build.
Yeah, the beginning is all about taking risks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Can be real.
That's like a whole other podcast.
Scary. It's either a blessing or a lesson.
Our part 2. We'll do a part 2.
The risk. Oh my goodness.
Yes. So, okay, I was really excited to ask you this because I know you started with a company and then left to go on your own.
Yep.
So, what are your thoughts overall, kind of? I know it changes per person and per personality, but on either joining an existing brokerage or going out and starting your own, do you think it's good to either start under a company or to build your portfolio clients first, then leave? Or to start solo or with a small group and then go to use something like Compass or something that gives you more freedom.
Right. I think
What are your thoughts?
I think it ultimately comes down to like your personality. So the way real estate works is you have a license, you have to put it under a brokerage. So like if you just have a normal sales license, you have to put it under a brokerage. So off the get-go, you have to join something. But then within that, there's teams. So you can go in as a solo agent or you can go in as, on a team. Vincent initially went in as a solo agent. He had some mentors, but he was pretty much figuring it out on his own. Now when we meet with people, we tell people like, that's a horrible way to do it. Okay. Like we're athletes. Like, I don't know if you guys played a lot of sports, but we're athletes. So like, we are just like, team is ingrained in us. There's no reason to do something by yourself. Like if you don't have to.
Yeah,
it's true.
If you want to go, what is it? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go slow, far, go alone. If you want to go far, go as a team, whatever. And like we live by that. So we now tell people like, if you're going to do this, you have to join a team. Like you have to join something. It's like I said, like that first contract we signed, he had no idea.
Yeah.
We didn't know anything what I was signing. And so when you go to write that first offer or do that first showing, you don't even know how to get into the house. You don't know anything about houses. You don't even know, like, you don't know anything.
Blinds.
They don't teach you anything in real estate school. They teach you how to not mess up. They don't teach you how to succeed.
Yeah. Correct. That's how it is in aesthetic school.
Yes.
Same with us.
100%. Yep. They tell you how to not like get sued.
Yep.
Right.
And that's it. They don't tell you actually what to do.
Yeah.
So I think it's absolutely vital to join a team.
Okay.
And I think you need to interview a lot of teams and get the vibes. A lot of teams, some teams are very individual. This is your business. This is my business. We're all just sharing resources. We're sharing a secretary. We're sharing whatever.
Okay.
Some teams are like that. Our team is a true team in that every deal we do, every single teammate's on the cut sheet. Every single teammate knows the client, was in the process at some capacity, helped with the showing, helped with the initial meeting, helped with the, setting up their collection or whatever. Every teammate is on the cut sheet involved. So we are a true team, right? Whereas, some teams are just like, you do your business. So I think you got to interview a bunch of teams, figure out where you fit
Try
in.
different dynamics and see like what works for you.
Yeah.
Like you said, knowing your personality and like where you'll fit in.
And every group works differently.
Yes,
for sure.
Knowing like some teams are big on social media. Some teams like buy leads. So the way our team works is we are 100% sphere based. So what that means is 99% of the time, the people we're working with, we either know ourselves or we are introduced by someone. So like if you said, oh, my friend's looking for a house. Hey, we know this person knows Bryn. Like we know this, we know them, right? We don't, like you can pay Zillow for leads. You can pay, insert company here. We don't do anything like that. Okay. Some teams do. Some teams are heavy on mailers and postcards and, all those types of things. So
you guys are heavy on referrals.
Heavy referrals, heavy word of mouth. And then we're big on our sphere. So keeping in contact with the person you went to first grade with, like reaching out to that person you haven't talked to in 5 years.
Community.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. We're very involved with our civic association. We're all on our like alumni boards or involved with our high schools.
Really are.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, they do so much stuff for their past clients.
Yes.
Like this past Thanksgiving, they did
pie drop-offs.
Massive ass pies. These big pumpkin pies.
Yes.
And they dropped them off to each of their clients' house. It had a little postcard on the front with their whole group on it. Like the fact that you took the time to 1, buy the pies, 2, do the postcard, 3,
160
go to all
pies.
The clients,
yeah.
160
It's an effort.
Like
it's an effort. Personable.
They very much put in that effort to make those relationships
100%.
last.
And it
works.
It works. Yeah, it works. Yeah. And then we do the Christmas card and we send that out. And so we're very heavy at the end of the year to kind of like fuel our business for the following year. Yeah. That's kind of what works for us. So we're heavy at the end of the year. We just did pictures for Santa for the first time. We do a lot at the end of the year to kind of like make that January, February, like kind of like set it on fire. And we're in that right now. So it's been amazing. We're reaping the benefits of it out of nowhere. We just like pop all these new buyers like out of nowhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But it's a warm lead. It's someone we know or it's someone we were referred to. So that's how we operate. Again, like getting back to your question, like interviewing teams, knowing how they do business, how do they bring in business. If you're shy and you don't have a sphere and you're not even from Delaware, you don't know anyone here, you'd probably do better on a team that buys leads.
Right.
Exactly. So it's like, it's finding what works for you. So we like to bring in people that, have a good base. Like they know a lot of people
already. They have that foundation, that social element to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the past couple of years have been insane in the real estate world.
Yeah.
So how was that experience for you? And also, how do you see the industry evolving in the next, like, let's say 5 years?
Yeah.
And how are you guys positioning yourself to adapt to those shifts? Like, what are you gonna do to?
Whew. This is a good one. No, this is a good one. Yes, it's definitely been. I hate to use the word crazy, but it's definitely been like shifting. And I actually don't think it's going to change. And I think a lot of time, like we have, when we work with a new buyer, we try to get them in the office, or we do a Google Meet. The best way to have success with us is coming into our office and understanding the process before it starts. For a while, when Vince would work with a new client, he'd meet them and show them the house the next day, and it would just be like a mess. So we have people come in, and I say this to whenever I'm in a buyer meeting. I don't think this is going anywhere. Like, I don't think this crazy market, whatever, is going anywhere. We're producing a lot of people. Like, our country's growing bigger. Delaware specifically is becoming more popular. We're seeing an influx of people. We're very well positioned in between Philly, New York, Baltimore, all DC, all the big East Coast cities. So I think Delaware is going to continue to be in high demand. And on the flip side, we can't build houses fast enough. Construction costs are through the roof. So I just don't think the demand or the value of real estate's going anywhere. I think it's only going to continue to go up. So even if interest rates are higher and your buying power is a little less, I think the property values are going to keep climbing. And I know that's crazy. But like,
I could see it.
We do a lot in Trolley, and like, when is a 3-bed, 1.5 bath in Trolley like not going to be valued? When is it not going to be worth, a lot of money? Like, people want to be there.
Yeah.
So
they want to be there, and insert here, right? Like 19803 Fairfax, or, like Greenville, whatever, insert here. Like when are they not going to be desirable? Like, we need to live somewhere. Like, housing needs to go somewhere, and rental prices are only going to continue to increase. And I don't see the demand going anywhere. So
that's very true. And also, like, you guys are kind of focusing at, you sell to everyone, but I think you guys definitely have a really high, like, production of young first-time home buyers.
Yes, 100%.
That is, like, definitely your key.
Yes.
And in doing that, you're going to have clients for life.
Yeah.
So, like, also, like, the first-time home buyers, we're buying our first homes, but they're not our forever homes.
No.
So you're getting that first home, and then you're getting the second home, and then you're getting their custom-built home, and then you're getting, like, you're getting their vacation home. Yeah, exactly.
There's levels to it.
So starting where you guys are, I think, is setting yourself up completely for success in that way, especially in Delaware.
Yes.
Like,
and one thing we've really, really pushed our clients is, like, yes, if you came to us in like a year and we're like, I need a bigger house, like, would we love to sell your house and make a quick commission? Of course, I'd sell your house 1,000 times with my eyes closed. Like, it's a beautiful house, etc. But like, we've really been pushing, especially our first time home buyers that like bought their houses when you did, like, you secured it at such a good time. You get such a good price on it. You got such a good interest rate. Like, can we figure out a way for you to hold on to this thing? We genuinely believe in real estate.
Oh, okay.
And
that's interesting.
We've been helping a lot of our clients hold on to that first house. Like, yes, again, I'd love to get that quick commission, but like, I'd rather help you in your life, like, save that, keep that house. Like, let's go ahead and rent that out. And if I'm going to offer you property management services to help you along the way, or refer you to someone, we have really been encouraging, especially the people our age. Like, again, I believe in real estate so much. I believe in the value. I see the settlement checks I'm handing some of these, 7-year-old downsizers that are selling their homes, and they're like walking away with $500,000. And I'm like, you bought this thing for $50,000 30 years ago.
Right.
Like, what the hell? Like, that is so much money. It's so much money. It's so much money. And we're watching these checks be slid across the table to some of these older people. And I'm like, why can't that be you? Right? Why can't that house you have right now be a rental? And why can't you hold on to that? And someday you're using that to pay for your kids' college tuition, or, you're selling that and 3 other rentals to buy your beach house, or whatever that looks like, 20, 30 years from now. Some of the best advice, I've told this story to a lot of our clients, some of the best advice I ever got was one of my friend's dads. He said to me that he always regretted selling his trolley house. Like, he spent his whole life regretting, why did I sell that trolley house? He sold it to make a quick $30,000 to put it into his next house, right? That's like what a lot of people do. They use their first home to trade up to the next one. It's a great way to build, your forever home and build wealth. But for us, we're like, okay, instead of doing that, like, let's hold on to that. Let's rent that thing out, have someone else pay that mortgage for you, so it continues to appreciate, continues to be worth more money. Cause someday you're going to be like, oh yeah, I made $30,000 on that house. But if I held on to it, I would now now be making 300 grand, right?
Yes.
So like, and we hear that so much from like our parents' generation. I wish I held on to that. I wish I held on to it.
And think about like the brownstones in New York.
Yes.
Those
think
were going
about
for like
that.
pennies for the dollar.
Oh my gosh. It's everywhere.
Like,
it's Charlie,
crazy.
it's DC, it's Philly,
Yes.
like Kensington
We've
and
seen it
Philly is
happen.
now people are making hundreds. Like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't see that changing. I just don't. So like
I see Delaware growing a lot too.
Same.
Yeah.
So like
Continuing
it's
to
having those conversations with those people and being like, how are we going to help you keep this thing? And if it's not on the table for them, we're not going to, we're going to help you and we're going to sell it and we're going to work our asses off and make sure you get the most amount of money today.
Yeah.
But if you can figure out a way to hold on to it, we're going to do our best to help you do that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's actually, that shifted my mindset a little bit. Because
Yeah.
I was more in the mindset of like, you buy the house, you renovate it, then you sell it, you take the profits, go to the next one, which is a great strategy.
100%.
Works really well.
Works so well.
But I get what you're saying about the longevity of it. Might be, there's definitely a flip side
there's other
to
ways.
keeping the property and renting it out.
Other ways.
Especially if you got that good mortgage rate. I think my mortgage, like
It's insane.
It's like 2% or something
Stupid.
like that.
It's stupid.
Absolutely
My
stupid.
first house, the one that we put that offer in on that we got, my mortgage on is like $900. We're renting it for $1,800. So I'm making $900 a month doing nothing. Like,
Crazy.
yes, if something breaks, I got to go over there and fix it. Duh.
But like every once in a while.
Yes,
it's not like
it's nothing
like
major.
every week.
We take really good care of our houses and our properties. So as long as you do that, and you're not a slumlord, and like you just have a rainy day fund. God forbid you need to put on a new roof. God forbid you need to get a new appliance. Like just have that rainy day fund or a really good credit card, and just be prepared for it. And don't be surprised. And that's the conversation we have with people. Some people can't stomach it. They don't want to be a landlord. They're like, no way. Like I'm selling it. I'm not doing it.
I get both
But it's
sides.
just giving people the opportunity.
Yeah.
Explain again. Vincent got into this business because nobody grabbed a hand and helped his parents. So like being that helpful person. We just did this with one of my best friends. She was like, I think I want to hold on to this trolley house. And like, we helped her do it. We went under contract on their next house and we had to find a tenant in 1 week. We had to help her find a tenant in 1 week to make sure that house
could pay for itself.
Correct. Had a tenant and that wasn't going against her income for the next house. So we found her a tenant, like boom. And that's what I stand by when I have these meetings, like that initial meeting. I'm like, we will find you a tenant.
I promise.
The amount of rentals, the amount of people that hit us up to rent, it's insane. And that's how I know real estate's going to hold its value is because the rental market's even worse than the buying market. So it's terrifying. So yeah, we just really believe in real estate. We do think that this is going to continue, and ultimately, like having someone that's going to hold your hand throughout the process is what you ultimately need. So we think we're in a good spot, and we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, that question was. I knew that the answer was going to be a good one.
Yeah.
I know you guys are
That's
set
what I
up
think.
for success.
Yeah.
I love it. And lastly, we just have a few little tip questions.
Okay.
So first is any tips for specifically young mothers who are trying to juggle a career, relationships, motherhood, all of it. Like any major tips because you're in your first year of it? Like any major things that you've been like, if I knew that a year ago, things might have gone a little more smoothly.
Yes. So I'm still learning. Obviously, I'm still in the thick of it, like literally in the thick of it. And I'm going to be thrown right back in the thick of it in June. But I will say one thing that I did not realize is like you have a new appreciation for other moms, and you almost like have this guilt when you give birth that like you weren't a good enough friend to your mom friends. Like you have this whole new appreciation. Like I have my best friend has 2 kids, and like the days that I'm like, oh, she doesn't text me back in 3 days. Like what the hell? Now I'm like, take your time. Like you can text me back in a year.
I'm in your shoes now.
You can text me back whenever you feel like. So like lean into your mom relationships, and like some of those can come out of nowhere. Like I'm now best friends with someone that like we were acquaintances, but when I gave birth, she hit me up and was like, yo, I went through hell in the beginning. If you're looking for someone to talk to, like I'm here. Just like a simple DM, a simple DM. And now I freaking talk to her all the time.
Wow.
Like I text her every day, like just I can text her at 2 a.m. Or when I was up, I don't nurse anymore, but when I was nursing, I could text her at 2 a.m. and like, she was probably up too. Like she was probably up nursing too, cause she was a mom. And like lean into those mom relationships, because it is hard in the beginning, especially like before you, again, I'm in a routine right now. We kind of like are moving and grooving. Before you get into that routine, especially I will say months 0 to 3, it is hard. It is so hard. It is so hard. And I would say the bulk, it's not as hard as you think it is. The bulk of the hard is your hormones are a mess. And like you're almost like hallucinating 90% of the time. You are crazy. You think everyone's out to get you, and this your whole life overnight has 100% changed.
Wow.
Nothing is for you anymore. Everything is for them. Like you are literally keeping them alive if you're nursing. And like
it's a whole
shift. Like overnight, you are no longer yourself. I'm no longer Mary Kate. I am Murph's mom. And so you spend that first 3 months like in this identity crisis. And then it's like, okay, you kind of start to feel like yourself again. It's like, okay, now who am I? Like, who is this new person? Because like that old me is done. She's gone. She is gone. She is dead. And like, we love her. And someday I see a glimpse of her.
Yeah.
No, I see a glimpse of her sometimes, but like, who is this new version of me? And like leaning into those relationships with other mothers and leaning into your friendships, people that aren't like, just like figuring out who your people are that you can call and be like, I'm depressed.
I'm not okay.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a wreck. So in order to function in all other aspects of your life, like you need to have that base and like you need to like figure that part out. So in the beginning, especially, I would just say like lean on other people. And it's hard. It's hard to ask for help, whether it's counseling, whether it's just like having a mom friend or your own mom or whatever that looks like figure out your community, figure out who your people are. And you can't dump it all on your husband because your husband like doesn't get it. He doesn't.
And he's also going through mental shifts.
Correct.
Becoming a dad.
Yes.
Becoming a father.
He's going through something totally different. Right. His mind is like, I need to provide. I need to make more money. I need to work harder. So like that takes him out of the house. And I'm like, wait a second. I need help in the house.
That's super true.
Yeah. So we're going through shifts.
Different shifts.
And we're on different planets.
Shifts.
And I was nursing. So like I'm up all night with the baby and he has to go to work tomorrow. He's got showings all day and he's got meetings all day. So again, like we kind of divided and conquered, especially in the beginning. I took our baby, he took the work baby, and it worked for us. But juggling it all, I think you just have to figure out who your people are. Have to be the most obvious people that you think it's going to be. So keep your eyes open, figure out who your people are, lean into those relationships. Yeah. Don't be scared, like be vulnerable, tell people when you're having a hard time. And then otherwise it's just like, this too shall pass. Like give yourself some grace. Yep. This is a period of my life. This is not forever.
Yep, keep it.
I'm gonna miss it, and it's like terrible. It's crazy.
That's the crazy part.
It's the craziest part of it all.
You spend so much time like so
hating it and want to get out.
And then once you're out of it, you're like,
you're gonna miss it.
I wish I could go back.
I know. She woke up last night at 10 o'clock for some reason. I went in and like I just held her for like 20 minutes. I was like crying. I'm just like trying to breathe in every second, like smell her, hold her. I can feel her heartbeat on me. And then I know like with the new baby coming, our whole relationship's going to change. I'm going to be divided in half.
Dynamic
and I was just like
shifting again.
Yes, again.
Here we go again.
Here we go again. But again, like this is just a phase in my life. We knew we wanted them close in age. I didn't want to be doing this for 10 years. I want to do this for like 5 years, like the baby stage. So yeah, if you're in this, you're, whether you go back to work, whether you don't, I have a new appreciation for stay-at-home moms. Like I always thought like that was the easy way out. Like, oh, you're just chilling at home. But like, oh my gosh,
it's a
like
full-time job.
It's insane. And the mental part of it, like, oh my gosh, like just not going to talk to people.
Just that being your only personality.
Yes.
Like being
just
a full
watch cartoons all day.
That's your whole thing.
I can't imagine.
That's really hard. I think people always glorify it and they're like, oh, like you're just a stay-at-home mom with a rich husband, and blah blah blah. Life is easy. No,
that's a decision itself.
A whole different world. Problems. Yeah.
So figure out what is important to you and like lean into it. Go all in. Whatever you're gonna. I always say like the days I'm home with the baby, I try to be. This is something I'm new, so I'm not an expert at this, but like I try to be the best mom I can be when I'm with her. And then if I'm gonna go to the office and Riley's got her today, I'm gonna try to be the best at work I can be. So like whatever my word of the year is present. So like we're big on like picking your word of the year. Mine is present. So whatever I'm in, I need to stop worrying about what happened last night. If we had a rough night with the baby, I need to stop worrying about tomorrow, who's helping with the baby tomorrow, or
worry about
work,
today, worry
whatever.
about right now.
If I'm in the office right now, what can I fix? What can I do? What can I accomplish? Like let's focus on today, right now, this present. Not worry about tomorrow, not worry about yesterday. So that's my word of the year is present. Trying to actually be in the present. When I'm with the baby, be the best mom I can be. Stop thinking about work and left and right. Yep. And then when I'm at work, let's go all in on being at work.
I love that.
Yeah. Leaning into your tribe has a lot to do with
100%.
Accepting help too.
Yes.
Being able to ask for help and not letting your pride get in the way for that.
I'm awful at it.
That's a big theme for me this year.
For sure. Good for you.
It's huge. It's hard.
Yeah.
Lastly, any tips for anyone that's looking to enter the real estate world?
Yes.
So maybe someone that is deciding that they're going to do it or on the fence about it, someone that's in real estate classes right now, or someone that has just started, like overall tips for jumping into the game.
Yep. Yeah. So 2 things I always tell people. One is like have some money saved up because it's expensive in the beginning. All of a sudden you finish school and you like pay $500 for school and you're like, all right, let's get my first sale. Well, you have to pay for the MLS. You have to pay for your super access and what gets you into houses. You have to pay all these different board of realtor fees and you have to be on this committee and this thing. And you have to be involved in all of those things. So make sure you save up, call it like $2,000 for all of that in the beginning, and then have 6 months. Try to have 6 months of savings or like be living at home or like have something. Because it's going to probably take you 6 months. It's going to take you 6 months to probably get that first sale, that first paycheck. So have that 6 months of like, okay, I can survive for 6 months. Have that initial investment ready to go because everyone's going to want your money that first week. And, just like give yourself some grace, give yourself some time because it's very hard in the beginning. It took me a full year from joining the team to get my first, hey, Mary Kate, I haven't talked to you in a while. Can you help me buy a house? It took me a year to get that.
Okay.
So prior to that, it was me reaching out to people, leaning into Vincent's sphere. It took me 1 year to have someone that I knew call me and say, hey, I know you do this. Can you help? So it took me 1 year. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some time. It's hard in the beginning. And then secondly, I would say like we tell people all the time, like when you do go ahead and make that commitment, burn the boats. Like, don't make this your side hustle. Don't make this your
plans.
No backup plans.
Go all in.
Burn the boat, jump without a parachute and build it on the way down. Like these corny sayings. But if you're not all in and you're like going home and, working at a restaurant or you're going whatever, and you're not 100% in, you're not going to succeed.
Right.
You're not going to know what it feels like to have no money in your bank account and be terrified that you can't pay your rent tomorrow.
It's almost like a rite of passage.
It is.
To feel
feel poor.
Yeah, to feel broke. Like you got to have at least one point where you're like, am I going to be able to pay the bills?
Can I do this? And I'm going to literally wake up at 5 a.m. every day this week to do whatever extra mile it is for me. Is it whatever? Having that like whatever it takes mentality. You can't have a backup plan. You can't have this like, okay, well, if this doesn't work out, then I'm going to do this. Right. So yeah, I would just say like burn the boats, be all in. It's the only way you can succeed in this business. And also the clients know, oh yeah, you work at, wherever on the side and you're doing, this is just your side hustle.
Yeah.
They know that.
It speaks for your passion.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. So why would they trust you? Someone that's half time at this. Why would I trust you to help me buy a house if you're half time at this?
Okay. That makes sense. I understand that perspective.
Well, and maybe like, that initial 6 months you're doing both, but I mean like when you're you're ready, like you're going to be all on social media. You're posting, you're all in, like be all in. But that initial, if you need to work at the restaurant a little bit or keep, whatever your side hustle may be, if you need to like keep those things up, like Vincent strung lacrosse heads. So if he's like a big lacrosse guy, like and to this day, he still strings heads sometimes because it's like his little side passion. Yeah. But for a while he was doing both. And then he was a caddy at a golf course in the summer. So his first summer of his license, he was caddying and selling real estate. And it showed. It's obvious because he's at a golf course for 4 hours a day. And like, yes, do we need that money to survive? Sure. But then it got to the point where he was like, I can't do both. This is not enough. Like I'm half-assing both clients. I'm actually sucking at both worlds.
Like little things you want to throw in there?
I don't know.
Before we sign off, I feel like we covered so much good stuff.
We did. This episode was so valuable.
Thanks. I don't know. I guess just, trust your gut. Like I said, like I made this jump a year and a half ago and it was terrifying, but like it all worked out. And my other thing I keep telling, and you've probably been through this, just being a business owner, like it's not easy. Like we have to go buy our own health insurance and we have a rent to pay for our space and whatever. So like, it's not easy. But like trust your gut. If this is what you want to do, like go all in on it, take a bet on yourself, like take a risk on yourself. At the end of the day, we're all going to die. Like it's inevitable. So like just live and like, don't have any regrets. Like if you have some burning passion deep down inside, go figure it out.
Yes. So I get that question a lot is how do you know that this is what you want to do? Like, how did you jump into it? Like what, and I struggle honestly with answering that question because to me, it just felt like natural. It just felt right. Do you ever struggle with answering that question of like, how, like I know how I got into it. I know like the steps of it, but as far as like doing it, I'm like, the only thing I can ever tell them is like, I just did it.
Yeah.
Like you just do
I
it.
would
You
say
just don't have fear. Like,
I would say for me, it's like, it was like an itch. Is probably like the best way
that's a
I
good
could
way
say
to
it.
put it.
So I was watching Vincent's business like flourish and like crush it. But I was like, if he tweaked that, he'd be a little bit better. Or if he changed that, and I would just watch.
You were that tweak.
Oh my gosh, I would just watch and I'd be like, why didn't he post that on social media? Or like, why didn't he do it this way?
Right.
Or what if I had the idea of like the pie thing? I had the idea of a client appreciation thing. I had so many ideas of like, oh, if he did this, he could be better. And it was literally like this itch. It was just like, I have my own full-time job. I can't do all, like I can give him these ideas and he'd be like, okay, like let's help me do them. I physically couldn't do them because I had my own job. So it was like literally an itch that like, when I would lay awake at night, I would just think of like, if I was on his team, I would do this. If I was on his team, I would do this.
Wow.
So whatever you're lying awake thinking about at night is probably your passion and probably something that you need to be doing.
Oh, love to think about it that way.
Yeah. So like
good
if you're lying awake at night thinking about something or you're like, what if, like that's your itch, that's your passion. So like go ahead and lean into it, explore it. Like,
just do it.
yeah, just do it. What's going to happen? You fall flat on your face and you pick yourself up and try again.
And that's a learning lesson in itself.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's the answer for me is I'm not afraid of failure.
No,
like I can
exactly.
fail and
Some people
and
can't
come
handle
back
that.
around. Like I don't mind it.
Right. You're not dead yet.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be okay.
Blessing or a lesson?
Yes.
Exactly. All right, I feel like this is a good place to close it off. I think we got so much good, valuable information out today about both the real estate game, motherhood, balancing life, business stuff, like all of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Thanks.
Our first guest.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I
It's an
hope you had
honor.
fun
Absolutely.
listening.
And
Someday I'll have you guys on our podcast when we do it.
Oh,
It's going to
we'll be
happen.
there.
It's going to happen. And
will
before
be
we
there.
sign off, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you at?
Yes. So my Instagram and TikTok and everything is just at Mary Kate Garm. So Mary Kate, just like Mary Kate and Ashley, and then GARM for short for Garmin. So everything Mary Kate Garm. And then we just started more like business accounts as well for the Garmin group. And then last is I have an Instagram page called Trolley Trends, trolley.trends, which like highlights a lot of local businesses, another like passion project through COVID, just like helping local restaurants and just like encouraging trolley home ownership. So also have trolley.trends. So a couple brands, but I would say the bulk of everything's on Mary Kate Garm.
Perfect.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for coming.
you
We
for
love
having
you.
me.
And thank you so much for being so transparent and really giving some good game today.
I love it.
The best.
Yeah, it was
Thank you, guys.
awesome.
Thank you. And thank you to all of our listeners. Make sure you download, subscribe, and check us out on all platforms. They will be linked below. And we love you, and we hope you all have beautiful days. Bye, guys.